So at the beginning of the year, there are a few things that, we are often kind of dealing mentally about, or, trying to make our minds up about, that we want to accomplish for the year. And so last year, I talked about having a closer relationship with God. And I pray that many of you here on this channel, relationship has changed for the greater for 20 from 2025 to 2026. And now let's go further, right? And so another important what we want to say is this is, and that is purpose. Something else that is important for us, which is purpose, right? We all have a purpose. We all were created here on earth for something. And a lot of times, what the world is offering us in the way of finding purpose is not actually how it is done or given to us when we are of God. Okay. So, one, I want to give 4, 5, like, ways that is different from the world way of how we are made aware of our purpose and how we are given our purpose and knowing that of what is our purpose, right? And so, one is we will God will give us our purpose when we have committed ourselves wholly to Him, right? Holy meaning not that we're holy, HOLY, but that we have given ourselves completely, committed ourselves completely, totally over to Christ. So, like, I don't believe I had ever asked for my purpose or what my purpose was, but it wasn't until I committed myself to Christ totally was when God began to show me, without me asking, in His Word, what he had purpose for me, for my life, right? And so one of the things that you will need to do, and that is to commit yourself completely, wholeheartedly to Christ, to get Him to share with you your purpose. Second, to offer yourself wholeheartedly also, not just to Him, but to whatever He wants, right? Submitting to His will, submitting to His way. I remember coming up in church and not really even understanding what did it mean to submit to God's way or submit to His will. And that was because I didn't know the word. Like, I didn't know what His word was, and even order for me to submit to His will. And so once, again, I began to have that relationship with Him, I became more acquainted with God. And He began to show me His love. And once He began to show me His love for me, I was able to see His heart, right? And then once I was able to see His heart, and I would recognize His love, like, oh, His love that He's showing me isn't just how He loves me, it's how He loves, right? And so, with me being able to see how much He loved me, I was able to see how much He loves and cares for you and you and you and, the world and others, right? And so He revealed how much I was needed, or how much I could be used to fulfill His heart's desire for others, as others were used to fulfill His desire for me, right? So for instance, like, learning how to trust in God for finances. Okay. So before, if you watched my video, I told you I thought I trusted God in my finances. Come to find out, I did not. And so when he began to teach me to trust him with my finances, of course he had to use people, or should I say, he used people in a way to provide for me through other people, right? So therefore, I was able to see like, oh, this is how he gets what he needs, how he wants and needs things done for others. And which that makes, it ties back to the word where he told Abraham that he gave him the blessing and that it would be for him and his seed that they would be a blessing to others, meaning the world, right? And then thirdly, my eyes was open to see the things around me and people around me, right? Once I became more intimate with God, I was able to see, people issues. So like the things that I was dealing with and the things that God had began to teach me and deal with me about who I am, the things about how I move, and where did I get certain things from, and when those things that he delivered me from, or he taught me how to move differently, now when I see those same issues in other people, or that they're dealing with those things, I now can be a witness that they don't have to go through that, they don't have to settle with that, they don't have to continue with that, and that they can be also delivered as I was delivered, or as I was brought out of it, or made aware of it, so that I could change, right? So yes, another way of that being our purpose is helping other people. So then fourth, it is to seek God's perspective, right? And so a lot really in our purpose mainly is how God sees it or things, right? I really want to explain this well. So with perspective, and when it comes to serving others, it is the greatest level. Like we really have to have God's perspective to serve people at the greatest level. The best example that I was given was that Adam was able to name the animals because he was given God's perspective. He was given the know what they were. So he was able to name them, just like Eve, right? And when God made Eve, Adam was asleep, right? But when Adam saw her, he named her helpmate, which is what Eve means. But because God had given him his perspective, and because he had God's perspective, he named Eve what God intended for Eve to be, right? And so that is too how when we have God's perspective, we can serve people again at the greatest level, with the compassion and with the heart that is needed to serve them. And then lastly, realizing that we're not to do everything. Like, it's not for us to do everything, but there is something that we have to do, right? And that with our purpose, it is not that we over here, we over there, we over there, we over there. No, there is a specific group. There's a specific location. There is specific people. No, we don't have. It's intentional. Is, I guess we can also say, for what it is and who it is that we are serving, and what it is that we're doing. So we don't have. We're not all over the place and missing the mark, missing who it is that we're supposed to be serving because, again, we're all over the place. So God has refined it to the point where he doesn't have us doing everything. He has us doing specific things. You know, he has us with certain groups, certain people. And a lot of times it's also tied to things that we've gone through. It's tied to each other's character. Like I did a video recently on, I think the other day, regarding about, you know, my mind having when he was teaching me about letting, you know, not sitting in condemnation because of something that I've done, to let it go, right? Somebody else needed to hear that. And that is what purpose is. And that is what each of us are here and created for, to help someone else. So if this video helped you, or it is someone that you know that it can help, I ask that you would share the video or leave a comment and let me know what it is that you may have gotten out of this video that you necessarily didn't know is pertaining to purpose. And if you would also like and subscribe, it would be very, very helpful to this channel. And again, thank you so much for joining me here on the Titus 2 Woman channel. And until next time, bye for now.